Hey guys, so today's video is going to be on how you can increase your calorie intake without gaining a bunch of weight, which I know is something we all want to achieve. Because eating more food and staying lean is probably the best thing ever. So, start off with probably the most obvious way to increase your calorie intake without gaining a lot of weight is by doing cardio, which we all know. But nobody likes to do a lot of cardio. I know I don't. I hate cardio. I do maybe 20 minutes a day right now, like 5 days a week or something like that, because I hate long sessions of cardio. So that's one way of increasing your calorie intake. And of course, also building muscle through weight training will also increase your calorie intake because muscles require more calories. But the way that I'm going to talk to you about today is to do with diet and diet alone, basically. So, for this, you probably want to be already tracking macros. Which I know a lot of you do, but if you don't, then you can check out one of my other videos where I teach you how to track macros, and I can link that in the description below. Okay, and yeah, so once you're tracking your macros, you have a set number, and if you're going from low calories, you're not eating a lot, then you probably want to bring up your intake, but you're afraid to usually because you're scared you're going to gain weight. So instead of just upping your calories, which happens a lot to people who have done competitions, and they come right out of their show and then they go and binge eat a bunch of food, and then they just continuously kind of eat kind of higher calorie all week, then all of a sudden they just have gained like 20 pounds again. And that's because their metabolism's so low and exhausted, and then they just feed it all this food and it just can't handle it, so it puts on weight. So instead, we should do what I'm going to talk about is basically reverse dieting. But you don't have to be coming out of a competition to do reverse dieting. You can do it basically at any point in your life. So, to do reverse dieting, it all depends on the person, how fast you can reverse diet. Some people just naturally can get back up to normal intake, calorie intake, or a higher intake quickly without gaining a lot of fat. But for other people, it might take a little longer, but everyone can do it. So, when it comes to your carb and fat intake, that's what's going to be changing the most when you're doing reverse dieting. Protein typically will always stay about the same. If you're coming out of a show and you've had very high protein for a while because you've been cutting and you've just had it high so that you don't get hungry or something like that, then you can consider lowering your protein a little bit or even raising it if you find it's too low. But in general, it is fat and carbs that we're going to look at. So each week, when you're starting a reverse diet, you want to be very slow with this and add back about, I'd say, 5 to 20 grams of carbs each week, depending on how your body responds. So usually for girls, you want to start with less than a guy. So for me, like I do usually 10 grams of carbs a week. That's a good number for me. So each week you would add 10 grams of carbs to your macros. So say your macros were 120 grams coming out of your show. So the week after, you would add 10 grams, so your macros would now be 130 grams. And then you would keep that for 1 week, and then you would see at the end of that week how your body responded. Look at your weight, look in the mirror, see if any changes happened. If your weight has stayed the same or if you've lost weight, then add another 10 grams the next week, so you're up to 140 grams now. And each week, just continue to do this very, very slowly. If you notice 1 week that you have gained weight, then take 1 week off, just keep your macros the same number that they were. So if you noticed you gained weight at 140 grams of carbs, then keep that week still 140 grams of carbs, then check your weight at the end of that week. And if it now hasn't changed, then add another 10 grams. To the point where you actually do start gaining weight, and then you know kind of your end of the range limit, but you want to push it as far as possible. You can even take 2 weeks off on the same macros, just keep your macros the same and just until weight gain stops, and then add 10 grams again. Just keep going, pushing your metabolism as high as you can possibly push it, and that's like the best you can do, because you're basically eating more calories, but you're not doing any extra work or any extra exercise unless you want to. And the same thing can be done for fat. You can do about 3 grams of fat a week. Fat is less just because fat has more calories per gram. So you want to do about 3 to 5 grams of fat at the most every week. And I'm not saying do fat and carbs at the same time. Either choose fat or carbs to change each week. So do like 3 to 5 grams of fat, or do like 10 grams of carbs each week. So yeah, that's what worked for me in my reverse diet. And this is so helpful because when you choose to lean out again, first of all, you don't have a lot of weight because like additional fat added, because you added calories so slowly. So you stayed as lean as possible. So you don't have a lot of fat to get off. And then at the same time, your metabolism is so high now, and your calorie intake is so high, you have a lot of calories to cut back from, so you don't have to eat so low calorie the next time you diet down, if you get what I mean there. So basically, this is the best way to increase your calorie intake without doing a bunch of other exercise and without putting on a lot, if any, fat. So that's all I wanted to talk to you guys about today. I hope that all makes sense to you. Yeah, and I'll try and do more videos like this that are more helpful to you. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and like, comment, subscribe as usual, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!